I'm Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. For today's class, you're just going to need a yoga block or a similarly sized, thick, sturdy book. And this class is going to have a little bit of upper body mobility focus, but will be primarily a lower body strength focus class. We are going to start sitting cross-legged, so you can join me there. Thanks. And find yourself seated up nice and tall and bring your hands onto your knees. And then from here, just drop your chin towards your chest and gently look all the way down towards your abdominals. Let your head be heavy. And then you're going to think about stacking your spine all the way back up and then coming to look straight ahead of you with your head. And then nod your chin, look down, and then get a slight little round down through the upper back. And then you can press your hands into your knees if it's helpful as you come to stack your spine back up tall, keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed. And then again, round down through the body, that upper back, and then press your hands into your knees, stack your spine up nice and tall, and then pause here with your shoulders relaxed. You're going to press your knees into your hands and your hands into your knees, and you're going to think about lengthening your chest through your arms, and then gently look up at the ceiling. And then stack your spine up nice and tall. Think about finding a little extra length through your neck. And then again, lengthen your chest forward, lift through the chin, gazes up at the ceiling, and then stack your spine up nice and tall. And one more time, looking up, getting a little stretch, and then coming back to that neutral position. And now you're gonna round through the low back, like someone's pulling you back. You're rounding out your whole body, and then press into your knees and then let your whole body come forward. So you're just sort of making that motion a little bit bigger from the upper back, just the upper back, into the whole spine. And then one more time, a little cat-cow here. And then back up. And then stack your spine nice and tall. Reach your left fingertips out to the side. Reach your right arm straight up towards the ceiling. And then think about reaching up with the right arm and out with the left. And then start to side bend up and over. Your right arm can bend over your right ear. Relax your shoulders. Think about breathing into your ribs on the right side. And then stack yourself all the way up. Bring your left arm up, right arm out to the side. And then think about reaching them in opposition. And then start to side bend up and over, rooting down through your opposite sitting bone. And then one more time, come all the way up, reach up with the right arm, out with the left. Find that opposition, and then root down through your sitting bone and side bend. And all the way up to the ceiling, and over to the right. Reach and side bend. Good, and then come all the way up. Go ahead and grab your block. And then you're going to come to sit with your feet towards one end of your mat. And you're going to bring your block in between your legs, just closer to your hips than your knee, like on that side of your knees. And then go ahead and bring your hands behind your legs. Straighten your torso up nice and tall. If you need to forgo the block and have your legs be crossed, by all means, you can do that. And then bring your hands nice and tall behind your head. Think about lengthening up through the back of the neck. And you're going to give the little block a squeeze on an inhale. Exhale, squeeze it a little harder, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale here. Exhale, squeeze the block, lift your pelvic floor, wrap your abdominals. One more time. Good. Keeping that squeeze a little bit as you inhale. And then exhale, deepen the squeeze as you rotate towards the right. Think about coming up nice and tall still out of your spine, and then inhale back to the center. Exhale to the left. And then inhale center. Check that you're not having one knee lead in front of the other. Keep squeezing gently on that block. Think that the lift of your pelvic floor and the inner thighs is what's squeezing the block rather than your knees. One more time to the right. And center. And left. And center. And then from here, curl the tailbone under. Reach your arms long out in front of you. And then stack your spine out nice and tall, one vertebrae at a time. If you would rather have your hands behind your thighs, that's totally fine. Curling your tailbone under, finding that space through the front of the hips. And also do this with your legs all the way long. And then stack your spine out nice and tall. 2 more just like this. Curl the tailbone under, ribs towards the hips. Arms are nice and long, but shoulder blades are flat on your back. You're not reaching forward or sending them back behind you. Lift all the way back up. One more time. Curl the tailbone under, opening up through the front of the hip. Pause here. Knees can be bent or straight. Lift the arms up, and then press down through your hands as you lower. And then lift up, and then press down. Feel the deepening of your abdominals as you press down. Really tuck that tailbone under. Find the space in the front of your ribs. Front of your hips, not your ribs. Neck is nice and long. 2 more. Using your breath here. Last one. And then roll yourself all the way down. Let your head be heavy on the ground, and then walk your legs in until your feet are planted fully on the floor. Hands straight up above your shoulders, and then rotate your palms to face one another. You're going to reach your fingertips up towards the sky. Shoulder blades separate away from each other. Might come gently off the mat, and then let them drop down and be heavy on the floor. And then again, reach up. Feel the resistance in your back ribs pressing into the ground as you lift and lower through the arms. Reaching those fingertips up, and then let your shoulder blades come be heavy on the floor. 2 more. And last one. Good, and then from here, you're going to give the block a little squeeze as your arms float overhead, and then bring them back up in line with your shoulders. If you prefer to have your palms face away from you, that's fine. And then draw them back up. Again, feel those back ribs pressing into the mat. 2 more. Last one. Arms come overhead. You're going to pause here at the top. Take a big inhale. Feel your ribs expand wide to the side. And then exhale, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up as you reach your arms towards your legs. And slowly peel yourself all the way back down. And then press down through the arms. Slide your ribs towards your hips. You're staying in a nice neutral pelvis here. And back down. 3 more. And 2. Neck is nice and long. Chin is hovering off of your chest. This time you're going to come up and pause. Bring your hands behind your head, and then let your head be heavy in your hands. From here, you're going to take an inhale, release the squeeze on the block. Exhale, give the block a little squeeze. And then release and squeeze. Going at your pace on your own breath. 4 more. Finding the deepening of those abdominals, the lift of your pelvic floor, just a little more. Check in with your neck. Your gaze should be at your legs. Last one. And then lower yourself all the way down. From here, bring your arms down by your sides, and then pressing your feet gently into the floor. You're going to tuck your tailbone under, draw your hips up towards your ribs this time. Press the low back gently into the floor, and then peel yourself all the way up. Holding onto that block. If you need to readjust it, go for it. And then uncurl yourself all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time, releasing back in that neutral pelvis. Again, adjust as needed. Arms are pressing into the ground. Press your feet straight down into the ground, and then feel the little engagement from the backs of the heels towards the shoulders, engaging through the backs of the legs, and then peel yourself all the way back down. And 2 more. Curling the tailbone under, round yourself up. Giving that block a little squeeze. Good. Last one. We're going to pause here at the top. Good. And then give the block 10 little squeezes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then from here, keep holding onto that block, feeling the lift of your pelvic floor, which is more or less what's doing the holding. And then float your right arm up, float your left arm up, Shoulder blades are still nice and heavy on the mat, and then you're going to lower your hips down 2 to 3 inches, and then you're going to press them up. And then lower down and press. Good. 8 more. 7. And you can make this move super tiny if that feels good. You're just creasing at the hips, dropping straight down. You're not really curling and uncurling, more of a neutral lift and lower here. Make sure your ribs are closed in the front. 3, 2, and last one. Pause at the top. Peel yourself all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time, and then bring your knees in towards your chest. Take the block out for a moment and give yourself a little rock from one side to the other. And then you're going to lower your legs back down to the floor. Move your block out of the way enough so that you aren't going to hit it in a moment. You're going to have your arms down on the floor, and then you're going to bring your right leg up in tabletop. And then bring your left leg up to meet it. Feel your hips nice and heavy on the floor. And then from here, just going to tap that right leg down towards the floor, and then resist to bring it back up. Good. And then tap it down on the left, and resist to bring it back up. If you can, trying to keep that 90 degrees angle through the legs. But if you need to bring your knees in a little closer towards your chest, or drop your heels rather towards your glutes, that is totally fine. Make your range of motion whatever size works for you. 1 more time to each side. Last one. Good. And then from here, you're going to lower your right leg down. You're going to bring your hands together in line with your chest. And then you're going to curl your head, neck, and shoulders up so your arms are reaching long right against that left thigh. And then you're going to lift your arms up overhead, more or less in line with your shoulders. And then you're going to twist and rotate so your right arm is coming on the outside of your left thigh. And then twist and rotate to the center. And then twist and rotate over to that left side. And then back to the center. Just think that the weight of your arms is helping your body rotate. Your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Think about opposite rib to opposite hip. So on this side, it would be the right rib to the left hip. And rotate. And center. 2 more. Last one. Good. Come all the way up. And then you're going to come to the center. Press your arm into your thigh. And hold for 10. 9. Try to press your leg into your arm. You're trying to unstabilize yourself. For 3, 2, last one. Lower all the way down through the upper body. Lower the left leg down. And then bring the right leg up in tabletop. Feel your shoulder blades be nice and heavy on the floor. Take a big inhale. On your exhale, press your arms into one another. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Right arm in line with right inner thigh. And then lift the arms up just in line with your shoulders. And then rotate up and over to the right side of that thigh. And then come back to the center, keeping the head, neck, and shoulders lifted. Twist and rotate. And up. And rotate. 4 more. Actually, 6 more. New year, no ability to count. Still. 3 more. 2. Thinking about that left rib going to the right hip, making sure your gaze isn't up at the ceiling. It should be more or less staying at the thighs. 2. And last one. Good. Bring those arms in line with your center line and then press your right thigh in. Resist with the legs for 10. 9. If you're shaking, that's fine. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Lower down to the upper body. Lower the right leg down. And then reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice big stretch. And then grab onto your block with your hands and bring it in line with your shoulders. And then from here, you're going to bring your right leg into tabletop and your left leg up to meet it. Give your head a little rock from one side to the other. If you feel a little stiff through the neck. Good. And then from here, you're going to curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Touch the block towards your shins. And then you're going to extend the arms overhead, extend the legs. And then bring it in. and extend. 4 more. Keeping the head, neck, and shoulders lifted off the floor, feeling the wrap of your abdominals. 2. Shoulders are nice and relaxed, not going too far overhead. Gazes at your legs. Last one. Good, now you're going to put the block on your shins, bring your hands behind your head, and lower your upper body down. Good, keeping the block or book, whatever you're using, balancing on your shins here. You're going to curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, and you're going to let the knees come in, and then you're going to let them come out. And then you're going to let them come in and out. Keeping those shins at the same height so that block isn't moving. Challenging yourself here, only going so far that you're not feeling any tension through the low back. Head is heavy in the arms. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good, bring everything in, curl a little bit higher, and then lower everything all the way down. Go ahead and grab that block. Place it not between your knees. You're going to place it underneath your right foot. And you may have to play with where it is distance-wise from your body, but you want your foot to still be planted in line with your hip. So when you're laying here on the mat with that foot on the block, your hips are still square. Your left foot is on the floor. Arms are pressing down into the floor. Make sure your head is nice and firmly planted on the ground. You're not awkwardly laying on your head, I guess. And then from here, you're going to press down into both legs and lift yourself up into a little bit of a cockeyed bridge, crooked bridge. And then from here, you're just going to lower your hips down. Just let them touch the floor and press back up. Trying to press evenly here through both legs. Lift and lower. Good. 6 more. 5. Feel the reach from the knees opening up through the front of the hips and the thighs. Only coming up so high that you're not arching through that low back. And with the shoulder blades down the floor. 2 more. And last one. Pause here at the top. Bring the left leg up into tabletop. Extend the left leg long and bring it in. Keep pressing straight down through that right leg, bending and straightening the left. Again, thinking like what we were just doing, where your leg is more or less staying at the same height. You can think that you have an imaginary block there as you extend and bend. 3 more. 2. And last one. Pause with that leg in tabletop, and then you're going to drop your hips and lower. You can come all the way just to tap them to the floor, or you can make this a half range of motion, or you can alternate. We have 6 more. 5, 4, 3, knee is still tracking in line with that hip. 2, last one, pause at the top. Lower the left leg down and then peel yourself all the way down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Now bring your right foot onto the right side of that block and then press the block just so it's still flat, but now in between your feet. So like this, but on the ground. And you should more or less be in the correct place. Give that block a little squeeze using your whole inner side of your leg. Lift the pelvic floor. Curl the tailbone under, peel yourself up into a bridge. Feel your heels slide back towards your shoulders, and then lift up through the arms, and then let the arms float overhead. And then release the arms back in line with your shoulders, and then let them float back overhead. Keep squeezing that block using your glutes, your inner thighs, not letting your knees fall out to the side. Challenging your abdominals here as the lever gets a little longer as you go overhead. 2 more. And last one. Good, bring the arms all the way down, curl the tailbone under, peel yourself back down 1 vertebrae at a time, And then now you're just gonna slide it a little bit more over to the left. Place your left foot on the block, right foot back in line with that hip and knee. Feet are pointing forward, and then pick the hips up. Again, at any point, stop to adjust. And then you're gonna start to lift and lower. Just a little tap. Those glutes on the floor. And press up. And up. If you can hear a dumpster, things being thrown into a dumpster outside, I apologize. It's very loud. 3 more. 2. Last one, pause at the top, bring that right leg up into tabletop. Secure your left leg, make sure it's not falling out to the side. Extend the right leg long and then bring it in for 6. 5. 4, hips are square and still. 3. 2. And last one. Leave that leg in tabletop. Lower your leg all the way down, your hips, or just halfway, your choice. Thinking about reaching from the knee, the thigh, the hip as you extend up towards the ceiling. 3 more. 2. Last one, pause at the top, lower that right leg down, and then lower your hips all the way down. You can peel down if that feels nice. Bring that block back in between your legs. Bring your legs up to a tabletop. Bring your arms up. Press down through the head, neck, and shoulders. And then lower all the way back down. Once you're reset through your upper body, you're going to extend your arms, extend your legs, and then resist to bring it back in. If you would like your block to be on one of the narrower settings, if that feels more comfortable for your hips and knees, you can rotate it. 3 more. 2. Use the press down of your arms to create a little tension. The last one here, bend the legs in, extend. Bend and extend. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. Bring the knees in. Give yourself a little hug. You can drop your block and just rock back and forth from one side to the other. And then bring your hands on top of your knees, and you're going to stir your femurs in your hip sockets like you're making a little soup. I don't know why, but whenever I do this, I think of the witch or the crazy lady from Hansel and Gretel. I don't know why. And then reverse. 2 more. And last one. And then you're going to roll over onto your right side. And just go ahead and move your brick out of the way. Brick walk. And come onto your right side. And you're going to have your bottom knee bent and your top leg nice and long. And you're just going to bring your hand behind your head and find length. So make sure you're not sinking towards the floor. You're pressing up out of that arm and elbow on the right side away from the ground. And then you're just opening your elbow up so that you are nice and open through the chest. Take a nice big inhale here. Find a little length from your toes to the crown of your head. And then you're just going to rotate your torso towards the ground. Only as much as feels good. Keeping that elbow open. And then you're going to open it up towards the ceiling. Again, getting a stretch through that upper back and your chest, perhaps. And then rotate and open up towards the ceiling and back down. 2 more just like this. And last one. Good. Find yourself in a nice parallel position. Reach your arm out overhead. Float your left leg off the ground. And you're going to reach and rotate, sweep your left leg back behind you slightly. And then as you open up, bring the arm back, bring your leg forward. So you're just making this a little bit bigger of a movement here. And then open back up. You can also do this just with your hand behind your head still, if that feels better. You may find that your arm just gets in the way. Do whatever works for you. 2 more. And up. Last one. Good, and then find that nice long line. Here you do want to extend your arm overhead. You're going to rotate towards the ceiling as you bring your knee to your elbow. And then you're going to reach and rotate. And then towards the ceiling as you bend in. And then reach and rotate. 5 more. And really think about taking the time in between each moment where you're bending and stretching to find a little stretch through the abdominals, through the front of the hip and the upper back. Last one. Extend long. Tap your foot down and lift it up for 8, 7. Again, you can bring your hand behind your head if that's more comfortable for 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Rotate your torso forward. Keep your leg lifted. Press away from the ground. Make sure you're nice and set here. Sweep the leg forward and then sweep it back. Trying to keep it at the same height. You can also bring your hand to your hip. Think about flexing through the hip and then opening through the hip without arching through that low back. So if it's helpful to bring your hand to your low back, another option. For 3. Ribs stay connected. 2. And last one. Good, lower that leg down, bend it in, and then from here you're gonna press up into a modified side plank and then back down. Press up, staying on your knees here. We're gonna progress this in a moment or 2. And up. Think about just lifting those hips straight up. Last one. Good, come all the way back down. And now we're gonna go into a little clamshell. Ribs are drawing in. You're still pressing away from the floor, but if your arm needs a break, come all the way down onto that right side for a moment here. We have 7 more. 6. Good, hips are square. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good, and then extend that top leg long if you would like. And then you're going to press up onto that right side into your modified side plank here. Reach the arm up overhead. Reach the top leg long. Take 2 breaths. Inhale here. Exhale. Feel your abdominals engage a little bit more. Press away from the floor. Find that stability. 1 more breath. And then lower that leg down. Lower the hip. Stack the knees 1 more time. You can bring your heels a little farther away from your butt here. You're going to lift your hips, hold here, open up for a clamshell for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Neck is nice and long. Last one. Lower everything all the way down. Press yourself up into a side seated position. Your legs are off to the left. Hold on to your shin with your left arm and then side bend up and over. Take a nice big breath here. Really think about breathing into the ribs on the right side. And then reach with your arms and rotate towards your legs. Maybe your stretch will creep a little bit lower down into your back. Good, and then you are going to come to the other side. So just starting on that forearm with your bottom leg bent, top leg long, but relax on the floor. Again, press away from the mat. Really engage through that left shoulder, right hand behind your head, and then open up the elbows so you get a nice stretch to the front of your chest. And then you're going to reach and rotate towards the floor. And then open up. And rotate. And open. 3 more. Go at whatever pace for this feels good. If you need to stop and stick with one of these, obviously, do what works for you. Keep pressing away from the floor. Last one. Good. From here, you're going to float your right leg up. Extend your arm long if that feels good. Otherwise, keep it behind your head. And you're going to reach and rotate as that leg comes back behind you. And then open up as that leg sweeps forward. And then reach forward. And then open up. And reach. You can combine the arms. This feels super nice. 2 more. And then we're going to add a little bit of that crunch situation in. Last one. Good. Keep that leg long, reaching behind you. Reach in front of you. Feel that nice stretch through the back. And then twist and rotate towards the ceiling as you bring your right knee to your right arm. And reach. And twist. And reach. And flex. Again, finding that nice stretch through the abdominals. And the front of your hip. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good, and then lower that leg, or your arm down behind your head, hip back. Again, you can come all the way down onto your total torso, total side rather, if you'd like, and then you're gonna sweep that leg forward, and then sweep it back. Keeping those hips nice and square, flex through the hip in the front, and then find a little bit of extension through the hip flexor in the back, keeping your spine more or less in neutral. 4 more. 3, 2, and last. 1. Good. Stack your legs one on top of the other. We're going to do clam shells first on this side and open. Really feeling that external rotation through that right hip. Keep pressing away from the floor. 3, 5 more. 4. Good. Resist as you come back down so your leg just isn't flopping on top of the other one, creating a little bit of resistance for yourself. 2. And last one. Good. From here, extend that leg long, or both legs still on top of each other. Full modified side plank here, and then lower the hips down. And then lift. Really find that breath. Pressing away from the floor, neck is long. Inhale. Exhale, 1 more breath. Extend the top leg. Hold here for 1 more breath. And then lower all the way down. Good. From here, bring your heels a little bit away from your butt. And then lift yourself up. And then you're going to hold here for those clam shells for 6, 5, 4, 3. Resist that leg down. 2. And last one. And lower all the way down. Press yourself up. Side bend up and over towards the right side. Good, and then twist and reach. So maybe that stretch creeps a little bit lower down that back. Relax the shoulders. Good, and then come onto all fours. Grab your block again. And this time you're gonna have it so that it's underneath your right hand, your right hand. So I'm going to turn around. So the block underneath your right hand, left hand is on the floor. Actually, real quick, just kick the block to the center. We'll do a few cat and cows here. So hands right underneath your shoulders, and then make sure that you're not hyperextending or drooping through your chest. So press the floor away, and then find a little bit of softness through the elbows, knees right underneath your hips. Tuck the tailbone under, round your spine up towards the ground, and then drop your head, give it a little shake. And then find a widening of your sitting bones as you let your abdominals descend towards the floor, and find length through your upper body. Curl the tailbone under, round the spine up towards the ceiling. Again, check in with those elbows. Give your head a little shake, yes and no. And then find that extension supported through your upper body so you're not just dropping again. And then find yourself in a nice neutral pelvis. Now you are going to put your right hand on the block. And you're going to start with just your left fingertips on the floor and then bring that left hand to your head. You're going to open up to the left side, looking underneath or toward your elbow, and then rotate yourself back down. And then lift and rotate. And then rotate towards that right side, elbow to wrist, and then back up and open. And back down. 2 more. And last one. Good. Square yourself off here. Bring that left hand back down. And then from here, you're just going to lower down into a little modified tricep push-up. And then press up. And then bend down. You have a little bit more weight. The sensation of more weight in that right tricep than the left, even though the weight of your arms should be even across. If you want to make this a little harder, you're going to bring your knees back behind you. Again, watch that you're not hyperextending that left elbow, especially as you come up. 4 more. Keeping your spine in a nice long line. Your head is not lowering before the rest of your body. 2. And last one. Good. And then send yourself back into a child's pose, but turn your block long ways and press both hands into it as you sit back. And then pull that block maybe a little closer towards you if you need. Think about letting your chest descend through your arms, even though they're a little higher. You're pressing gently into the block. Two more breaths here, really feeling your breath through your ribs. Last breath. And then coming all the way forward, you're going to bring that block underneath your left hand this time. Right hand behind your right head. Right behind your head, not your right head. You only have one head, I assume. And then open up towards the right. And then rotate down. That elbow is coming towards your right or left wrist this time. And open out. And back down. 4 more. If it feels good, you can add a little bit of, think about reaching back through those hips. Just do whatever feels nice for you here mostly. 1 more. Good. And then bring both hands down. Watch the hyperextension through the elbows. Bring your knees back behind you if you'd like. And we have 10 more half tricep push-ups. Again, the crown of your head is reaching long. Your tailbone is gently tucked under if you're in a plank. If you're in all fours, your hips are just reaching back behind you. 6 more. 5, chest is open. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good. Again, bring those knees nice and wide. Bring the block in front of you, both hands on top, and then sit back into a child's pose. One or two more deep breaths here. And then you're going to thread your right arm underneath your left side and just lay yourself back down. Press into the floor with the back of that right hand. Keep reaching the fingertips long. Maybe you can get a little bit more opening. And press down through that left arm on the block as well. 1 more breath here and we will switch sides. And then bring your right hand to the block. And then now you're going to thread the left arm underneath. Reach long through that right hand. Press the back of that hand onto the floor. And the right palm into the ground or into the block. Thinking about using that as a little bit of leverage to open yourself up more. 1 more breath. Good, and then come to the center. Place your block in front of you. We're going to do just a little bit of extension. Come down onto your stomachs. And then reach out with your hands on the block, just like we did a second ago. in child's pose. And then think about reaching the block away from you as your shoulders lift up gently towards your ears and your head descends towards the floor. Take a big inhale. Pubic bone is pressing towards the floor. Hip bones are pressing into the ground. Abs away from the ground. Press down. Think about sliding your block to you as you lift your chest up, reaching towards the block. And then again, lower everything back down. Ears can gently come up, or shoulders by your ears, and slide everything back as you lift up and back down. Lower body is nice and quiet. Press into those arms, lift up. 2. Last one, lift and pause. Really thinking about reaching that collarbone towards your block, and then you're going to float your right arm up and then lower it down. Float the left arm up and lower down. Feeling that initiation coming off of your back right here underneath that armpit rather than at the shoulder by hiking your arm up to your ear. Once more to the left. And then lower everything all the way back down. You can let your arms relax and give your hips a little shake from one side to the other. Good, and then from here, you're gonna press yourself back up into all fours. And you're gonna grab your block and you're gonna place it between your knees, just where we had it when we started class. So a little bit closer to your hips, not quite at your knees. Hands underneath your shoulders, and then curl your knees under, curl your toes under, not your knees. Reach the crown of the head long. Take a big inhale. On your exhale, float the knees up into this little bear plank position. Press the floor away, make sure you're not hyperextending. And then you're gonna lower all the way down. And now you're gonna walk your hands a little bit farther out in front of you. Curl the toes under, take a big inhale. Exhale, press and send yourself forward. So you're starting to come towards a plank. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, lower all the way down. Walk your hands out a little bit farther. Inhale here. Exhale, press off those toes, shoot yourself forward, find yourself in a full plank. Adjust your arms if you need, if they're too far away from you. Elbows are nice and soft. Squeezing that block. You'd always drop to your knees if you need. Neck is nice and long. Press your hips up towards the ceiling. Drop your heels towards the ground. Bend your knees. Come out into a plank. Again, tailbone tucked under, squeezing that block. Reach your hips up. Take a stretch here. Let your heels drop towards the ground. Bend your knees a little bit here if you need. And then bend your knees a bunch. And then press yourself forward into that plank position. 2 more times. Lift those hips up. Stop here for a nice stretch through the upper back and the legs. Bend the knees a whole bunch and then spring yourself forward into that plank. Lift the hips. Soften your knees for that stretch if you need. Bend the knees a whole bunch. Shoot forward into your plank. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Drop your knees down, take that block out, and bring it off to the side. You're gonna press yourself back up into a downward dog one more time. Bend your knees a bunch, however much you need to be able to stay here for a moment. And then you're gonna take your right arm towards your left ankle, calf, thigh, whatever feels good. Getting a little stretch here, and then come back to the center. And left arm to your left or to your right leg. Again, taking a little stretch here. And then come down onto your knees. And slowly curl yourself all the way up. One more little stretch. Bring your right knee in front. And then tuck the tailbone under. Reach your torso nice and tall. Tuck the tailbone under as you bring the hips forward slightly. And then you're just going to reach straight up through your left arm. Thinking about the knee all the way to your fingertips. You're getting that stretch the whole way up. And then you're going to reach that arm straight out in front of you and rotate it back. You can press your right hand into your right leg and then press that in so that you get a little bit of an active stretch. But words are escaping me. And then if you want, bring that right arm up as you reach down towards your left foot. And then come all the way up. You're going to switch sides with the legs. So now your left knee will be in front. And again, tuck the tailbone under and then slide your hips straight forward, feeling a nice stretch through that right side. Reach long through those right fingertips as you lift up. And then you can bring your back of your left hand to your left knee as you lower that right arm down and then open it out to the side, getting a stretch through your chest. And then reach long through the left fingertips and the right as you come back toward your foot. Taking a nice breath here. Good, and then bring your hands all the way back down to the floor. One last child's pose here, but this time send your hips back, reach your arms all the way forward. Find a little bit of opposition. Press your hands into the floor and feel your ribs expand to the side. And then exhale, just relax into the ground. And then you can slowly peel yourself all the way up. You can stay seated on your knees. Grab your right or left ear with your right hand, and then think about lengthening your neck and then gently bring it over to the side. Walk those left fingertips out. And take a breath. And then release your head, and then grab onto the right ear with your left hand, and then think about finding length as you bring it over to the left side, and then reach long through those fingertips. On the right side for a nice little stretch. Reach your arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Externally rotate your arms, drop your hips, drop your ribs, and then press down, grow nice and tall from your kneeling position. And you are all finished. Thanks.